So, what is up, guys? It's time for your Sunday football review. Um, so Chelsea, what a weekend! Weekend of football it's been for the Premier League. Chelsea beat Aston Villa 3-0 today. Good result for them. Puts them third in the Premier League table. Big result for Spurs. They drew with Fulham. Which means they've missed out on the chance to move back into the top six. And Manchester United beat Everton 4-0. We'll get onto United in a moment. But first, let's talk about Liverpool. Let's talk about Manchester City. Now, Manchester City have lost again. They've lost 2-0 to Liverpool this evening. And Liverpool now 11 points clear of Manchester City in the title race. The only team that can actually and actually challenge them and look like can actually challenge them this season is Arsenal. Obviously it's a big game for Liverpool. It's a big win. It's crisis for City. 7 games now without a win. It's like how can this form continue for City? 7 games without a win. They're now 5th in the Premier League table, which is the lowest they've been, in a few seasons now. It's been quite a long time since Man City have been sitting 5th in the Premier League table. But it's been a funny season for them. I think that, them losing Rodri has really had a huge impact on them this season, and I know a lot of people will agree with that. Since Rodri's been out injured, Man City just haven't looked the same. This is the problem with Man City. They are very much a one-man team. He's a player that, they've sort of built the team around, and without him, City are just not good. Like, they're not good enough, And the problem is, obviously, Rodri's not going to be back until, the start of, till pre-season. He's certainly not going to be playing again this season, which is a huge problem for City. Obviously, we are still, there is still 5 months until the end of the season, but it certainly looks like Man City are not going to be winning the league title this season, which would be good. I'm not on board of seeing City win the league title every season. But yeah, great result for Liverpool. Another disappointment for City. More frustration for Pep. As they lose 2-0. It's another 3 points dropped. This is a true banter era for City. It's like when was the last time they went 7 games without a win? Like, when was the last time they struggled this badly to win a game? Like, they're just not, they're just struggling so much. They're losing and drawing games they should be winning. They should have been beat. They should have been Feyenoord in the week. They were 3-1 up against Feyenoord, and they shifted 2. They conceded 2 goals in the second half and went on to draw the game 3-0. That should never have happened. Especially when Man City were at home as well. They should not have been dropping 3. They should not have been dropping 2 points to Feyenoord at home in the Champions League. It's just beyond bizarre. They should have been beating Bournemouth. They should have been beating Brighton. Normally, those games that, they lost against Brighton and Bournemouth were games that Man City normally would have won. Tottenham, they shouldn't have been getting battered 4-0 by Spurs at home, a team that had just lost 2-1 to Ipswich before the international break. It was just unbelievable for City, and it's a obviously a lot. I presume a lot of people are enjoying this. Seeing City playing the way they are at the moment. Seeing their somewhat downfall as such. This is a real difficult time for Man City and for their supporters, and we don't know how it is like this can't go on. It's the same with West Ham. It's like they're about 5 points off the relegation zone, and they haven't sacked Julian Lopetegui yet. How can they, how can they not have sacked Julian Lopetegui when they're sitting? They're 14th in the Premier League, but they're only 5 points off the relegation zone. And West Ham United should not be sitting only 5 points off relegation. It's just not good enough And again, West Ham need to get rid of Julian Lopetegui. And I was saying this yesterday, with yesterday's football review. I was saying that he's just not good enough. And I said I was shocked, at the fact that West Ham haven't sacked Julian Lopetegui at this point. He probably should have been sacked weeks ago. But let's talk Manchester United. So a 4-0 home win against Everton. To be honest, I love that game today. I think we looked so confident. We looked more confident than we have done in a long while. Ruben Amorim, what a manager. He really, we can see that things are improving. I feel like things are already improving at United, and things are already looking good. We're back into the top half of the table now. We're ninth in the Premier League. We're literally only about 3 or 4. I think we're only about 4 points off top 5 now. I think we're 3 points off Spurs, and we're about 9. We're about 3. I think we're about 4 points off top 6. And we're only about, I think we're not even, we're not even that far off the top 4. I think that, if we keep on getting these positive results, top 6 will certainly be achievable. We can certainly get top 6 before the end of the season. It looked like we can do that. Going back a couple of months, we didn't look like a team that, or even a month ago, we didn't look like a team that could even challenge for top 6. But a month later, we're starting to look different. We're starting to look like we can challenge for, top 6 or even top 4. And it's good to see that things are starting to improve. I'm starting to enjoy watching the United games, watching United games again. I'm starting to enjoy seeing the way that we're playing again. We're starting to play enjoyable football again, and that's what we want to see from United. We want to see them playing enjoyable football. That was our biggest win of the season, and it's the first time we've actually won a game by 4 goals this season. The last time we actually won a game by 4 goals was when we beat Sheffield United 4-2 in the Premier League back in April. Towards the end of last season. So obviously, and that was against a team that were, obviously fighting relegation. Everton, I wouldn't say are really, in grave danger of being relegated, but they're not, they're not one of the best teams in the Premier League by far. Obviously we've got Arsenal in the week away from home, and that's a game we have to be very nervous about. When you look at our recent form in the Premier League away at Arsenal, it's not been easy for us. There's not, half of the managers we've had haven't been able to win away at Arsenal. It's always been tricky for them to do that. Maybe Ruben Amorim would be the first manager to actually get United a win away at Arsenal. I feel like we have a chance. It's not going to be an easy game, as Arsenal have kind of turned things around in the last few games. They played brilliantly against Nottingham Forest. They were brilliant in the Europa League, in the Champions League. On Wednesday, they were really, really good in that. They were really, really, good yesterday against West Ham. But again, West Ham are a shit team. They're really struggling at the moment. So Arsenal were always going to get a good win there. It wasn't a game that Arsenal were going to lose. But to score, 5 goals in the first half of the game this season, like Arsenal are the only team to actually do that this season. They're the only team to have scored that many goals in the first half. I look at Manchester United. Arsenal's form at Old Trafford hasn't been that great, and so has our form at the Emirates. That 90 minutes of football today from Manchester United was the most enjoyable 90 minutes of football I've seen for a very long time. We saw some brilliant performances from a lot of players out there today. Onana was really good in goal. Marcus Rashford played, pretty well today. He was better than average today. So was Joshua Zirkzee. He was, better than average today. He played, better today than he has done in quite a few games this season. He played some brilliant football today. Bruno played well. I think the subs had a good impact when they came on. It's nice to see Luke Shaw get a good half an hour today. I think Ugarte didn't look too bad when he was brought on Mason Mount. To be fair, Mason Mount hasn't looked too bad, in the last couple of games. I think, he's looked okay from what we've seen, from what I've seen of him. But the player that I think that everyone obviously has to be spoken about today and has to be given the praise was Amad Diallo. What a performance today. His performances for us in the Premier League have been incredible. He was so good when he was out on loan at Sunderland. He's come back to United, and what a player he's been. He's still young. To be honest, as a United fan, I'm very, thankful for the young talent that we have in the team. I think that's one thing that we can say, is that we do have a lot of exciting young talent in the team. We have a lot of youngsters that have huge potential, and Amad Diallo is one of them. In let's say, a good 5-6 years time, Amad Diallo would be a player that, is a player that would be worth a good, 80-90 million quid, 80-90 million pounds. He's a player that has, that would be worth, a very sizable amount of money, in years to come. And, he's one of those young players that has a very, very bright future ahead of him, and someone that looks solid every time he's out there on the pitch. He looks absolutely incredible. He plays just like we would expect a player like him to play. He's an absolutely he's a legendary player. He really is. He plays a style of football that we expect from Manchester United, from a player in our team. We expect the players to play well, and he does play well. He plays brilliantly. Every single game he plays, absolutely incredible. For a young player, he's impressive. He's a baller. That's what Amad Diallo is. He's a baller. He plays so well every game. And that's what we need, is a player that can put in consistently good performances. And we've got a few players in the team that can do that. We've got, obviously, Amad Diallo. He's able of putting in solid performances every week. We've got, obviously, Nuzem Mazraoui, obviously one of our best signings from the summer. Great performances from him recently. Every game he puts in a solid sort of 8, 9 out of 10 performance. He's someone that's, committed. He's a hard worker. And that's what we need, is passionate, confident players. And we have those players in the team. We have, confident, passionate players that are willing to put a shift in, and that's what I love about some of our players, is they actually have so much confidence. And I think we're starting to see a lot more confidence with the players under Ruben Amorim. I think Ruben Amorim is really a manager that could achieve something special with United, and it's been a long time since I actually said that about a United manager, that the United manager has that potential to do something special with Manchester United. But Ruben Amorim is a manager I can certainly say that I'm very excited about. I think we can all be very excited about what Ruben Amorim could achieve at United. I think he's someone that he's someone that could really do something special with us. Obviously there's a long road ahead, and there's a lot of work to do. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, maybe I shouldn't be getting so excited. Maybe I need to calm down a little bit, but I can't help but be excited about what the future holds for United under Ruben Amorim after that performance today. I think that performance today was, absolutely incredible. We played so well. Throughout that 90 minutes, it was just incredible. We played. I'm not saying that we played badly against Bodo Glimt. I think we played well in that game. Obviously, we should never concede 2 goals to a team like Bodo Glimt, but we did well to kind of turn the game around and win the game. To be fair, If that had been Eric Ten Hag in that game, if he'd have still been playing under Eric Ten Hag, we would not have, I don't think we would have turned around, we would have turned that game around against Bodo on Thursday night. I honestly don't think we would have done that. I think today's game, I think we would have seen a completely different scoreline altogether if we were still under Eric Ten Hag. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm so glad we brought Ruben Amorim in. I'm so glad that we didn't go for someone else and that we went for a manager like Ruben Amorim. Because he's someone that is able of getting the best out of a lot of players, and I think we're starting to see that. I mean, obviously we're only a few games in, but I'm very, very happy with the results. I mean, obviously, some people would see the draw against Ipswich as a disappointment, but, I'll take a point away at Ipswich. I'm not going to complain. I'll take the 3 points against Bodo Glimt. It gives us a chance in the Europa League. I'll take the 3 points today because it means that we're closing. It means that we're now, that we're now closing the gap, and we're now closing that gap on top 6, and we're giving ourselves a fighting chance. And that is what I like. That is what is making me so happy, is the fact that we are now giving ourselves a fighting chance of actually getting top 6 and possibly even top 4 this season. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to get top 4, but if we keep working hard between now and May, hopefully, maybe we can get top 4 this season. Top 6, is a definite possibility. I think we can do it. Obviously, we've got, in terms of Nottingham Forest, we've got in terms of Spurs, they're the 2 kind of main teams that we're competing with for top 6. I think we can get top 6. I believe we can do it. But, it depends on how results go. Obviously we've got Arsenal in the week. And I'm sure that a lot of United fans will be very, very nervous, about that game. Obviously, our attentions will now turn towards that game, and obviously we'll be fully focused on that. I think that Rasmus Højlund not playing today kind of bodes well for him playing, starting the game in the week against Arsenal. To be honest, I was happy that Ruben Amorim took Hobie Mainu off today, because I fear that if Hobie Mainu had not been taken off the pitch today, he could have potentially been sent off. He was probably, he was at risk of being sent off if he wasn't substituted, which is why I'm glad that Ruben Amorim took him off when he did, so that we kind of avoided that. But, to win 4-0, in that game today was just so good. I didn't say it, I didn't think it was going to be a 4-0, I honestly didn't. The last 2 games against Everton at Old Trafford have been a 2-1. But today, something, when I looked at United today, and something just felt so different about United in comparison to recent weeks. They look better. The players are starting to look confident again. They're starting to look, they're starting to look happy. They're starting to really put their hearts into their performances. They're starting to show that they have that ambition. They're starting to show that they have that fight there. They're starting to show that. What I'm starting to see from those players is they're starting to show that they do have that passion for it, and they do have that motivation. And I think Ruben Amorim is a manager that really is really good at motivating players, and is really good at getting the best out of players. We saw that at Sporting Lisbon. I think this is the best appointment for the club. I think bringing Ruben Amorim in was a decision that Ineos actually got right. I think they did. I think they made the right decision in bringing Ruben Amorim in. I'm happy with that. I think that him being brought into the club was a huge, was so good for us. It's a huge boost for us, you know, in terms of confidence and the way that we play, the style of football we play. Just incredible, really incredible. So yeah, really, really happy with that result today. Couldn't be happier, really. It's just so much better from United. As I said, I'm starting to really enjoy watching them play again. You know, I'm starting to love the football we're playing because we're playing such good football. You know, I think I can actually see the game against Arsenal in the week being quite a high-scoring game. It has the potential to be quite a high-scoring game. I think United under Ruben Amorim, things are looking good. You know, things are looking better than they have done for a very long time. Yeah, I'm not denying that there's a lot of work to do in certain areas, but you know, things are looking good. You know, things are looking positive. You know, which is not something we've been able to say in a very long time, is that things are looking positive for Manchester United. You know, things are starting to look up for us. And, you know, it makes me happy to see that things are looking more positive and looking more bright for United. You know, it's really, really good. You know, really great result today. Great decisions. You know, I admire the subs from Ruben Amorim. The thing that I like about Ruben Amorim as well is it seems like he's not a player, not a manager that seems keen on waiting so long to make changes. As that was the thing that used to kind of frustrate me a little bit with Eric Ten Hag, was the fact that he used to take so long to make changes. But Ruben Amorim isn't a manager that does that. He's not a manager that waits so long to make the necessary changes. You know, he makes the necessary changes when he needs to make them, and I like that. You know, that's what I like about Ruben Amorim, and I think I don't think there's anything that's not to like about Ruben Amorim. You know, he's a very good manager from what and I think that this is the best managerial appointment and the best decision that Manchester United have made in terms of bringing in a new manager for quite a while. So good on him, I say. Good on him for getting Ruben Amorim in. You know, and I'm very excited for what the future holds for United. I think under Ruben Amorim, things are going to be good. I think he can achieve something truly special with United. Hopefully things get better for City at some point as well, but we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this football review of the weekend's Premier League fixtures. That's another Premier League weekend in the books, done and dusted. It's really, really good. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.